And welcome in in-game chat. I am very loud, and I'm turning myself down. I am still very loud. I'm bringing myself down a little bit there, so I don't, there we go. That was louder than what I was expecting. Kind of still is, but anyway, hope I'm not blowing you out over there. Everybody listening in, especially on the stream. I think you're okay on the radio, but if you're on the stream, might be just a tad bit loud. I'm not sure. Anyway, welcome into the show. In-game chat for Saturday, October the 28th, 2023. It is season 17, episode 36. And I am Scott. RJ out of town this weekend, over in Atlanta, for a convention thing going on over there. So that is where he is. Bama Brian says that I sound fine, which thank you so much, because I have no idea what that sounds like on your guys' ends of things. I know how it sounds in my headphones, pretty good. I see over there that I'm getting into the red of the stream there, so hopefully that's not too bad. I don't know what you guys are feeling. Oh yeah, I forgot to do this last week. I do not want to forget this week. So there we go. Yes. Anyway, I have reached out to Duke to maybe join us in Discord. I'll be keeping an eye on that to see if he pops in. But so far, nothing yet. It shows that he is currently playing City Skylines 2, which I really wish I was playing that right now as well. Not like right now, obviously doing the show, but I really wish that I'm not there with it yet. I wish he would pop on so we could talk about it, because I'd like to see how his experience has been. There's been some issue, good and bad, with the game. A lot of people are playing it, and they've got some issues with it. However, apparently Colossal Order, the developers behind the game, are just plugging away at trying to fix the performance of the game and how well it runs. They have this priority thing that they're working on. So right now it is performance. After that, it'll move into like animations and things like that. But right now it is strictly on performance and trying to get that up and running and going for the game. So we'll get into that a little bit later on, because there's news in which to discuss with that, which is mostly what we're going to be covering today is news. As far as games that I played, not much. More of Cyberpunk for me, and that is about it. Cyberpunk is about the only thing that I've been playing. I have some demos. Did I get some demos, or did I get some games? I might have gotten some actual game codes that I have not either. I haven't redeemed them yet, just out of time, or I have redeemed them and I haven't played anything. I know I got the Christmas Carol game, Ebenezer, and oh God, I've already forgotten what the title is. Wait a second, I have Steam. Why don't I just look at my Steam and then I can tell you what it's called there? God, I got a few games actually. It works better on the website than it does on the app. I should have remembered that from last week when I was trying to do that. In fact, there's my games. You just pull that up. Works a lot better. Bama Brian says, I heard the frame rate on the menu screens is terrible unless you disable some settings in Skylines 2. There's a whole, there was a video that was released where some guy went through and one of the YouTube streamers went through, had multiple video cards, which, by the way, the game is video card reliant. In other words, the bottleneck doesn't happen because of your CPU. Your CPU does have, it has some connection to the performance, but for the most part, it is going to be your GPU. It's going to be your graphics card. So he went through and did a ton of tests with graphics cards and basically found that there are like 4 or 5 general steps you got to do in order to get this thing to kind of run smooth. And it is turn off VSync. And there's a couple of other things to disable. I can't remember. I have things bookmarked for this game whenever I get around to it. I don't know if you're like me, but I have, a feed where we get all our news and stuff. I have one of those feeds. I really miss Google Reader, but I will tell you, Feedly works fantastic as a replacement for that. And I don't ever want to see it go away like Google Reader did. But anyway, so, I'll get little news articles and things like that pop up, and it's like, here's the 5 things you need to do with that, or it's forum post or something. It's like bookmark, or read later, or whatever the case is. I save all that stuff for when I have, I have an interactive map of the Spider-Man 2 New York, for whenever I get around to playing that on PlayStation 5. It's an interactive map, so I can kind of check off all the things that I've done or see where different things are, what's going on. But I knew that I was like, hey, that could come in handy later on. Bookmark it for later. So that's what I did. And yes, every other time I have trouble signing in, AC Wraith. That's exactly right. So what did this is only going to tell me perfect games. I didn't know I had that. Perfect games are games that you've gotten all of the achievements for. I have 4. And if Duke signs on, Steve, then he would laugh at that. I have 4 games that I have perfected. The Room being one of them. Love that series of games. I would imagine The Room 2, 3, and the rest of them would be on there, but I don't think I've started playing those, or if I have, I haven't finished them. To the Moon is another one. I would highly recommend anybody to play To the Moon. Very, very, really good game. Really good story. Really good emotional game. To the Moon is, I think it's part of a series. I don't necessarily know how much they are connected outside of the developer and outside of kind of the gameplay style. But To the Moon is really worth your time. If you like a good story game, then To the Moon is something you should look at. It's only one achievement, by the way, in that game. So, and I imagine it's what is the achievement, I wonder? Okay, yeah, just play the game. That's it. Just play the game and you'll get the achievement. But I will tell you, it took basically 4 hours. So there's something else to look at. The Room, again, I have 5 out of 5 achievements in that one, 100%, and that was 85 minutes time played. These are quick and easy type games that, not only will you get the achievements, but they're quick games that you can get through. But To the Moon's really, really good. Danger Zone, I have. I did not know I had all the achievements in Danger Zone. That is made by Three Fields Entertainment, the same group that sort of splintered off from Criterion, makers of Burnout and stuff, and kind of went off and made Dangerous Golf, and then they made Dangerous Zone, and now they're making Recreation, I think is what it's called. Rec spelled with a W. And that's for THQ Games. I think it comes out next year at some point. We've seen little drips of it here and there, but I'm not... I need to see more of that. So far, they haven't shown off anything really that's attracted me to it. Nothing screams, this is Burnout, or this is the next evolution of what we've been working on. I don't I don't get that from anything they've shown so far. But I'm still curious about it. And I will still be curious about it and interested in it. AC Wraith says, To the Moon in 2011 was followed by Finding Paradise in 2017. And if I'm not wrong, AC Wraith, there was a third game that came out after that. I don't remember what it was called. I don't remember when it was actually released. And I don't even remember, it may not have even been connected to that. It may have just been To the Moon and Finding Paradise, and then they released a third game at some point. I don't remember. But anyway, looking at my games, all it shows is recently played. I can look at all games. Oh, no, never mind. It says playtime. I have Railgrade downloaded at home. I have not tried to play that yet. But that was another one that I got a code for. It is a train simulator type thing. So I say it's a train simulator. It's not necessarily, here, let me click on it. I can tell you what it does. Railgrade on Steam is a train resource management game. Construct dense virtual railroads, build cities, construct vast factory chains with train automation. Restore an off-world colony's economy, all in the story-driven campaign. It's got mostly positive right now. It released on October 13th of this year. And yeah. So, I mean, in that description, if you know me, if you've listened to the show long enough and you know what sparks my interest there, then all of what I just said was like, yeah, it sounds like something you'd play. Exactly. But anyway, yeah, I've got a couple of games that I really haven't gotten to, but I have them right now. And yeah, Thar 66, you need a Kleenex. You need Kleenex tissues for To the Moon. Yeah. I agree. It was, I mentioned that. It's very emotional, really, really good story. It really is. I wasn't expecting it from what it was doing. It was odd. Playing the game, I didn't get a sense of emotion until really towards the end of it. I mean, yeah, you get attached to the characters and stuff, but not the tug to your emotions doesn't really hit until later in the game. So yeah, but it's really good. 4.5 hours, not even that. And that's me playing the way that I play. Probably even quicker for most others. Something you'd enjoy, I feel. So look into that. I haven't even gone over the intro here. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228. Check out ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter at ingamechat. You can also find us on Facebook there. Email us, everyone, at ingamechat.net. We are streaming right now with that camera. And I don't know how that looks. Looking at the screen that's in front of me to see how that looks, it seems choppy, but I don't know what it looks like for you guys who are streaming it. Hopefully it's coming through nice and clear. I'm using one of Joey's cameras, another guy that works on the station. I'm using one of his cameras here to stream with. And I figured, I'll get it all set up. I did. I'm hoping it's looking good. I don't know, but there we go. So yeah, we're streaming right now on Twitch. Go to twitch.tv and type in-game chat. Up at the top, you'll be able to find us. Click on that. You can watch. You can join us in the chat room. You can join us on Discord if you'd like to, and even talk to us through Discord if you want to do that as well. Like I said, sent something out to Steve to see if he would like to join us and talk, and especially talk about City Skylines. Would really, really like to hear his opinion on that since he is playing it. And it is a game that I do want to eventually get to, and I will eventually get to. But I kind of want some of those kinks worked out at the moment. This is, it honestly shouldn't be as demanding as it is. I think they're working on that to make it not as demanding as what it is. Because if you really want something demanding, I would like to direct your attention over to Alan Wake 2 that released this week. Alan Wake 2 being talked about as being the most, I want to say technically advanced game. I don't think that's the right way to put it, but possibly the most technically demanding game, I suppose, if you want to run it like max specs 4K type stuff, you need the top of the line on pretty much everything in your box on a PC to make that thing look good. But you don't necessarily need that. You don't always need a game to do all of those things. City Skylines is a great example of that because the developers even said we never were aiming for 60 frames per second. We don't feel like a city builder needs 60 frames per second. In a way, I kind of agree with that. You're not doing a lot of, fast Twitch type gaming sort of thing. You're not. It's easy on the eyes. I will tell you, watching YouTube videos that are in 60 FPS or even higher than that. There's this fluidity that comes with it, and I really like playing in 60 frames per second if I can get that. But I kind of agree that your city builder doesn't really need that. I'm okay with that. So they're not really aiming for that 60 frames per second benchmark on this thing. 30's fine. But even at 30, the demand that is needed just to get that, and not only that, but just to get it at 1080p. Again, I don't have a 4K screen on my computer. I don't, I got a 4K TV that I play on console, but the console version of this isn't coming out until next year. We're back to City Skylines again, if you're following along how my brain works. My computer only goes 1440 on the resolution, which is, but it's a step above, for those that don't know, it's a step above 1080. It's a step below 4K. So it's in between. And trying to get this thing to run good, 1080p, 30 frames per second, has been a chore for a lot of people, regardless of, and it only gets worse when the population of your city increases. When you start hitting 100,000 people in your city population, that starts to make things kind of drag a little bit. But like I said, we're going to get into that a little bit later on. All I played, though, to go back to that, where I started, was Cyberpunk and some Marvel Snap and stuff like that. But really, it's just been Cyberpunk 2077. I wrapped up some, loose ends on some missions I had to do. Basically, I had apparently done a few missions, and then it's like, hey, you need to go talk to these people. Where it either started a new sort of quest or started a new quest line or it wrapped something up. I was able to finally go and pay off some people I owed money to, and also had to go and just do some little, house cleaning things where you go back and you talk to some characters and stuff like that, just to kind of get it wrapped up. Although the odd thing is that my mission list has not gotten any shorter. It's actually expanded, so which is fine. I don't mind having lots to do at any one time. So that's kind of nice for me. AC Wraith says, I run games in a 720p window because I'm sitting so close and I like to stream video at the same time. My card is a 1070 and it does it all fine. 1070 would, especially at 720p, that's fine. And if you're going to do some streaming and stuff like that, you're good. You're good. I don't know I'm not sure what Steve's got in his box as far as a graphics card. I know we've talked about it, but I have no idea what he's got in his box. We'll have to find out if he sees my all my messages there where I've reached out to him to join the show here. I'd like to ask him about that. But speaking of joining the show, let me make sure this works. We have Chris. Hey, Chris, you there?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, buddy. Comes in real nice.
Yeah, I didn't even bother trying the phone system.
You're perfectly fine, man, because I am looking in the complete opposite direction of the phone, which, by the way, if anybody does call, just go ahead and call and let it ring and everything else. But, I'll put it so that it automatically puts you on hold, and then I can look over there and make sure you're there, and then I can put you on. I don't want to dissuade anybody from calling, but sure, go ahead. What's going on, Chris? What have you been playing? What's happening with you?
Well, I've been playing one of the other role-playing games I found last week or so that was on sale for half off for $20. The one I bought a collector's edition of. I think it's a Chinese role-playing game called Sword and Fairy Together Forever, but I've been going through it and playing that one. But I bought the collector's edition physical copy of it and was debating about opening it up, but then I saw the digital was on sale a ways back, and I decided I'd just grab it that and just play it digitally.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much been it, and watching anime and stuff on the Crunchyroll app with my subscription through that, and, back and forth, doing this and that.
Sorry, I was getting some water. Okay. So yeah, watching anime and playing the role-playing it now. Is this a role-playing game that you were familiar with before you started playing it, or this something that you just kind of bought on a whim or just had because it was a collector's thing, or what?
Yeah, just something I bought on a whim, and other people reviewed it and said that the series was good and all, and I just jumped in feet first and have been enjoying it ever since. It's a lot of text and reading subtitles, but it's got an excellent story to it, so it's been worthwhile playing it.
All right, well, good. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
It's kind of a little different hearing something like that and then having to read subtitles in a major role-playing game like that, where it's all in subtitles and it's a foreign language, or you have no idea what they're saying and you just have to catch up during the major points of the story. And which I'm glad on, they have options where you can increase the subtitles size and stuff, and then the major conservations you actually can you can do one screen at a time, so you can at least read everything at your pace before you go on to the next part of what they're saying.
What system are you playing on?
PlayStation 5.
Okay, I didn't know if it was a PS5 or a Switch game. You may have already said that, and I didn't hear you, so apologize about that. All right, Chris. Well, good talking to you again, man. Anything else?
No, not much. Just been taking it easy and just finding things to do here and there, and playing on those. I was thinking about trying to jump back into Diablo again, but seems like my buddies don't feel like playing it, or they haven't been playing it, so I may do that sometime, or I may not. I haven't really decided on if I want to jump back into playing it again. It's
odd, man. Diablo 4, had a great launch from what I understand, but the lasting power has seems to have fallen off on that thing. And I mean, that's just from an outsider's perspective. I just don't hear it brought up much anymore. I heard a lot of it brought up pre-release and then not long after release, but it didn't take long before the talk of that just kind of completely died down. But again, I could be wrong on that since I don't have the game and haven't played it.
Yeah, that's the way it kind of feels to me as well. It was there for a hot minute, and then, the main storyline hadn't changed, and this going to be season to season is what's going to be changing in the main storyline. So whatever they come around from each season to add to the story and how they change things up, and you have that extra content that's kind of woven into the game world.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not there on picking that up. Obviously, it'll be Cities 2 or Spider-Man 2 or something before I get around to Diablo at all. Probably Baldur's Gate even then before I get around to Diablo. So, well, Chris, thanks. Good talking to you again, and thanks for joining us. And I hope that you'll join us next weekend as well.
So I got to turn the phone app and everything on late. So what have you been going over since the beginning of the show?
Not really, just talking about City Skylines 2, the release of that, and how to get your system running the thing, or at least what they're running into problems with, and only mentioning a little bit of Cyberpunk that I played. Not much. So, not much going over. In fact, we're about to take our first break of the hour here.
All right. Well, I'll see you later then. Y'all have a good one.
Take care, man.
All right. Bye.
See ya. We'll be right back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. We're still continuing with our Halloween theme, and this one's just kind of a bunch of songs that we've used over the years. I don't know how far back. You'll notice they kind of go in order because basically I took all of our songs that we've played over the years, and they were listed alphabetically. And I was just going through, and I'm like, that sounds good. That sounds good. This sounds great. It's from A Hat in Time. It is called Mafia Town Halloween, and we'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. Welcome back into In-Game Chat. Music from Kingdom Hearts. Obviously, that is Halloween Town, Kingdom Hearts. Welcome back into the show. Well, yeah, you're right. Thar66 says, this sounds like something from Final Fantasy. Well, you're not at all off from that. Might as well be, basically, is what we're saying. So, yeah. That is from Kingdom Hearts, like I said, Halloween Town. All right, jumping into the news that we had going on. I am going to go, I don't know if there's any particular order. These are just how I laid them out. So this came out, I think, Friday or Thursday. It kind of goes from most recent to what happened earlier in the week, I guess you could say. I did not know, and apparently a lot of people did not know, that Disney Dreamlight Valley was going to lose the ability to be free to play whenever it launched. It's been in early access since August of last year. I messed around with it. I played with it on the Xbox Game Pass. And I actually kind of stayed with it for a while, and I found, I found exploits and things like that about how you can get money and do all these other things. All you have to do is plant certain crops and do all these things, and it actually worked a lot of the times. But it just didn't, it never stuck with me. It felt like it was time-gated too harshly, and you kind of hit a roadblock rather early with unlocking new areas or new characters. And I'm not one to shy away from a time sink because of Destiny. But this one wasn't. And, it's interesting. I may need to go back. I just brought up Destiny. I may need to go back to a lot of the games that I put some time into, but not a lot of time, because I would think, well, I can sink time into this, or I could be sinking time into Destiny to get my stuff done. I don't have to do that anymore. So I'm curious and wondering if maybe I should revisit. Anyway, the early access period is about to end. During early access, those who wanted to immerse themselves, all they had to do was purchase one of 3 Founders Packs, which gave them access to the game, along with a collection of Moonstones, which is the in-game currency, and in-game cosmetics. Founders Packs, the tiers were the Standard, which was 30, Deluxe, which was 50, and Ultimate, which was 70. Game Pass subscribers could enjoy Disney Dreamlight Valley for free, however. Throughout the entirety of the early access period, Gameloft, the developers, or I think that may be the publisher, promised that upon the launch on December 5th, Disney Dreamlight Valley would shift to a free-to-play model. I thought that's what they talked about. That's the weird thing. Like, when they weren't, I was like, wasn't that supposed to be free-to-play? Like, my memory said that, yeah, it's supposed to be free-to-play. So did they change their minds, or did I just miss that? I kind of, one of those things where it's like, am I crazy, or was this always supposed to be free to play? But they were going to shift to a free to play model with purchasable expansion options. Apparently there's an FAQ that is still on the Gameloft site that reads, after early access, we have plans to add paid expansions that will add significant content to the game. These optional expansions will add new content to the base game. However, we are currently focusing on delivering a great, complete experience first. But now, Gameloft says that will not be the case. Instead, there are 3 launch editions. $40 for the base game, $50 for the physical Cozy Edition, and a $70 Gold Edition that includes an upcoming A Rift in Time expansion. As we look ahead to the official launch, with the learnings we've gained from early access, we've made the decision to remain a paid game for the foreseeable future. This means we will not make the transition to be a free-to-play game when we leave early access on December 5th. The early access update on the official, that's what was on the official website. This choice ensures that Disney Dreamlight Valley will be able to continue delivering on a premium game experience for all players. Then they go on to, put more corporate speak in there. Purchases requiring Moonstones remain optional. Players will still be able to collect free Moonstones via Dream Snaps and chests, or optionally choose to purchase them. Reaction from players have been mixed, with some praising the decision to avoid the messiness that is often standard with free-to-play microtransactions, and other lambasting the decision to go back on the year-long promise. I didn't buy it since I was waiting for free-to-play. Guess I'm not buying it ever. Somebody wrote in a reply. Others replying to the official post announcing the update were confused as to how their Founders Edition purchases would carry over to the official game launch. Though the update makes clear that Founders Edition owners will retain access to the game, get all unique cosmetic items from the Gold Edition free of charge, and receive 2,500 Moonstones, it seems that they will have to shell out the $30 for the expansion pack, even if they spent $70 on the Ultimate Edition Founders option. There's easily a point of contention on that one. I'm looking here. The Gold Edition, the $70 Gold Edition, is the only one that includes the expansion pass, which would get you the Rift in Time thing. Interesting. But if you paid for it... So that's what I'm trying to see. If you paid for the $70 Founders Edition, or the Ultimate Edition from the Founders Pack, that's interesting. Okay, a little scummy there. Little scummy on their part in that regard. Yeah. But I'm sure it'll go on sale. Thar66 says they have some shady store tactics, like putting the Frozen Girls right on top whenever you open the store, so kids want it and ask their parents to play them. Somebody wrote, on the plus side, it's a horrible game with horribly dated graphics and animations and gameplay straight out of Farmville, but in 3D. Walk up to a thing, press an interact button, wait, repeat forever, so nobody is missing anything of value if they skip it. Then somebody said, well, you also just described Animal Crossing, and people love that. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you take a game and you break it down to its basics, you're probably going to be the same thing. You walk up to a thing, you press an interact button, you repeat. It's games. That's how gaming works. I don't know. Like I said, I liked the beginning of the game. Then I felt like I ran into a wall of, well, I don't have enough to do this. In fact, I felt like I had to exploit in order to really make any progress in the game at the rate that I was making. So, I mean, that's on me. Depends on how you play it. And I was not playing it the way that I probably should have been playing it. I was playing it in short bursts. And so in order for me to make any progress in that, I had to exploit, which again I was not doing anything that the game didn't let you do. I wasn't cheating, if that's the case. I wasn't doing any cheating like that. It was just a way that you could do it. I was also playing on Xbox. Very hard to cheat on the consoles. Like that. So, and especially with a game like this that is kind of an online type thing. But yeah, I don't know. I did like it. I do remember liking it, but it just didn't stick with me. So, what else do we have? We had the finals open beta. I only saw a trailer for this just the other day. Maybe I'd seen a trailer earlier, but I only saw a trailer for it just the other day, and I liked what it was. It launched in open beta this week, and it became so popular that developers struggled to maintain capacity. The Finals is a team-based first-person shooter from Embark Studios out of Stockholm. These are ex-DICE developers who worked on the Battlefield series. They do not have player numbers for Xbox or PlayStation, but the open beta on Steam was the 6th most popular game on their platform, with an impressive 132,000 concurrent players. That put it ahead of GTA 5, Baldur's Gate 3, Call of Duty, and Battlefield 2042. In order to safeguard the experience for those that are playing, and as we work to expand our capacity, we'll be introducing a temporary login queue. That's how they were dealing with so many people playing the game. One mechanic that sets the finals apart is destruction within the virtual arenas. Players can alter, exploit, and even destroy the environment in order to get a jump on their opponents or draw them into traps. The narrative set up is a Hunger Games-style televised virtual combat game show with holographic crowds and commentary. The open beta runs on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S, by the way, PlayStation 5 and Steam until November the 5th. If you want to give the final, I saw the trailer for it and I was like, okay, that seems cool. Nice little team-based multiplayer type game sort of thing. You know, you're not playing against bots, you're playing against other teams of 3 or whatever it was, 3 or 4 people. And I'm not sure how many other teams, maybe 3 teams total that are playing. So I don't know. I kind of like that idea. It reminds me, and I don't think it was this, it reminds me of whatever Sony showed off months ago whenever they did their State of Play. And it was for their E3. And there was a section in there where they did their live service games. And one of them was a very heist-specific thing. It's not Payday. It wasn't Payday 3. It was something else. I don't think it was the finals because I just don't remember that at all. But it was something where it was basically a team of about 3 people, I think. Multiplayer, it's all co-op. A team of 3 trying to break into a vault. And you were trying to do it before other teams of 3 did it before you did it, I think. Or got there before you got there. And it was one of those situations. I'm not sure. But that's what it kind of reminded me of, but I can't remember what the name of that game was. So, what else do we have, and how much time do we have for it? Well, we can talk about the Steam sale going on right now. It is the Steam Scream sale going on. What do we have? It's basically the entire store has sales going on. In fact, Spider-Man Remastered on PC is at 40% off right now. But mostly, if you go to the homepage of the sale, you're going to see a lot of scary games that are discounted. You can sort by top sellers, most downloaded demos, of course. There is a demo, by the way, for Crow Country, which is a Silent Hill-inspired game. I've looked through it. Inscription is down to like $10. It was $20. It's down to $10. I'm really kind of curious about that one. Alien Isolation is $14. What else do we have? Ghost Trick, $20 down from $30. Hunt Showdown, which I don't really consider horror, but maybe it is. I don't know. Control is $10, and that is the Ultimate Edition of Control. Resident Evil 2 is $10 as well. Down from $40. That's a good deal. Speaking of, by the way, good deals, Epic Game Store, if you have an account there, which if you don't have an account there but you play on PC, get an Epic Game Store account. There's free games over there every Thursday. And whether your computer can run them or not, you can add them to your account for whenever you have the ability to run them. Last week it was Evil Within. This week it is Evil Within 2, which reminds me I need to launch my Epic Game Store and download that title, or at least add it to my account. I may not get around to playing it ever. I have a weird affliction. And my affliction is, I would say it's collecting things, but I've kind of held off on a lot of that during the pandemic and stuff. The whole COVID thing changed so much stuff. I don't know when the last time I bought a steelbook that maybe didn't come. Probably Metroid Dread, I think, had a steelbook with it. There may be another video game that I picked up that had a steelbook with it. But really gone out and been like, ooh, that's a really good steelbook. I got to go out and get that. Hadn't happened. So I don't have a lot of those. Poster sales, it hasn't been great. There's been a few that have popped up from time to time that I've been interested in, but it's not like it used to be that I can remember. I haven't bought one of these T-shirts in a long time. So yeah, there hasn't been a lot of that. Video games, on the other hand, especially Steam games or PC titles, digital titles where nothing actually clutters up a space. It only clutters up the hard drive. And even that, it doesn't. I'm only adding these things to my account. I'm not actually adding them to my things that I can instantly play at that moment. So I don't install them. I just add them to the account. Now that on my PlayStation, on Xbox, on Switch, which there was another free game giveaway on Switch that I missed again. That I'll do a lot of. Steam, Epic Game Store. Library is huge. I just don't have them all installed because I don't have that kind of space. But yeah, sucker for that one. Just adding games to my Steam account or to my digital library account. So, but yeah, check out Steam's Steam sale going on right now. And don't forget, the Steam sale, this ends November the 2nd. It's one of their quicker ones that they're doing, kind of just running with a holiday theme on it and going from there. They do that from time to time. I think in the spring they'll have, a seasonal thing like, hey, it's the 1st of spring, let's have a sale, something like that. They have the Steam summer sale, which is whatever. The Christmas sale is fine. That gives you an idea. It's a holiday sale. It's holidays. People get gift cards. They do, that sort of thing. Summer is just like, yeah, let's throw a sale up. So yeah, they're going to have their Black Friday sale coming up, around that time. It'll last like the weekend of Thanksgiving and stuff. Then they'll do their Christmas sale, which is like a 2-week event. I don't know if they'll give away games. I thought they gave away games once when they were doing it. But again, let me shift my attention back to the Epic Game Store. If you're playing games on PC, get a free Epic Game Store account. There are games every Thursday. And when the holidays roll around, for 2 weeks over the Christmas holidays, they give away a game a day. And it's not a giveaway as in like you get a chance to win the thing. Nope. Usually it's 1 to 2 games per day that shift in and out. So, Monday will be a free game. And then Tuesday at 10 a.m., that game goes away and a new game shows up. And then Wednesday at 10 a.m., that game, it's fantastic. Yeah, a lot of free games. Lethal Migraine mentions Prime, Amazon Prime Gaming. If you've got Amazon Prime, you've got Amazon Prime Gaming. Set that account up. Link it to all of your other accounts. There's not only free games, but there's free, I want to say DLC, but like free other things for that game. Destiny, every month, there was free in-game items that they would give me because I was an Amazon Prime customer. And it's not just with Destiny. There's a ton of different things that they offer stuff with. So, yeah. It's good stuff. It really, really is. AC Wraith says, Steam likes developers to spread out their sales, so what's on sale now might not get a Black Friday discount. This is true. Usually, though, it almost always happens at the holidays. I mean, I know it, but like whatever's on sale now probably will be on sale again at the holidays. Don't take that as truth, right down to it, because it's not going to, probably won't work for every game. But yeah. Let's see. Also, Steam hasn't given away anything in a long time. I love the summer camp event where they let you buy with participation tickets. I don't remember that. Steam used to gamify their sales, and now they don't. Steam used to make sales exciting because you didn't know what was going to be on sale. You didn't know if it might go lower throughout the sale. It felt like this very fluid thing that was constantly changing. You had your daily deals, which was a page of specific titles that had dropped cheaper than what they normally were on sale for. So they went even lower. Then you had your quick deals, which were like, hey, these deals are only going to be around for 6 hours. So get those because in 6 hours, we're changing them up. It was like 3 different titles that would just switch in and out as to what they were on sale for. But you didn't know what they were. That all stopped. And man, I wish I knew what it was. I wish I knew what happened to make that stop, because it wasn't like they phased it out. It just stopped. We had it one time for a sale, and then when another sale rolled around, we're all like, hey, I wonder what the theme's going to be. And then they changed it. They gamified it to a sense where you got put on a team, and depending on how much you played or how much you bought or I can't remember what the other factors were. Your team made progress, and you were on like Team Green, Team Blue, Team Red, and I think Team Yellow was another one. So they gamified it that way. And now it's just like, it's the sale, and we're giving away, stickers and things like that that you can add to your account. All digital type stuff. They really, really took away the fun of it. The sales are still fantastic, but there's something fun about that time. I don't know. Maybe we data mined it to death. And that's like, well, we might as well just something. I feel like something happened. Because they just don't do that anymore. Whatever the sale price is, that's the sale price for that particular sale. It doesn't go lower than that during the sale. Whereas previous, it was possible. And maybe that was the case. Maybe it was like, man, we can't keep doing this. Because we're selling these at one price, and the next day they drop, and somebody's hitting us up saying, but I just paid this. Can I get this cheaper now? And maybe they got tired of dealing with that. I really don't know. But it's just not what it was anymore. So, which is fine. The sale's still there, and that's really all that matters. So we're going to be right back with more of In-Game Chat here. We've got music from a game called Distrust. It is the main theme from that game. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. Welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music from Castlevania, Dawn of Sorrow. It says gloomy something. I don't know what the rest of the thing says. Gloomy, and then, so that's the track name for you. Tried to make it as Halloween-y as possible, I suppose. Halloween-y as possible. Let's see. AC Wraith says, apparently the event was in 2011. It's hard to find because Steam has since ran many events with the same name. Plus, there's the unrelated Steam Educational Camp, which is basically just STEM with arts and humanities in it as well. It goes back a ways. And honestly, it was, I would say it's probably around the time that Left 4 Dead came out. I remember that being an amazing sale. Left 4 Dead or Left 4 Dead 2, I can't remember. So yeah. Oh my God, he's here. He got my I threw up the bat signal and he showed up. You're a little late there, Batman.
I know. We're kind of having like a Halloween event at my house.
I figured, man, and I'm so sorry to interrupt. I thought about that when
This is we have the Mimi and the Papa over, so we have
plenty of babysitters.
and of course, I'd love to come on and help you out for a few minutes I can. I just so happen to have something to talk about. I don't know if you were in the middle of the conversation at all, but
we just got back from a break, and before you jumped in, we talked very briefly about City Skylines because I saw you playing it, and
I technically wasn't playing it; I was idling in it.
So did you have the time paused in the game, or was it doing something, or what were you doing?
Oh no, my city was actively alive and doing stuff. The way that you level up in the game is much different than the first game. So
oh God, is it time gate stuff?
Not really. It's XP based.
Is XP stuff based on time?
No.
Okay.
It's based on. Actually, I shouldn't say that because you do get some XP every so often when your city people are happy. So that's kind of related to time, but it's mostly related to actually building. Okay. So you place things down on your map. The more valuable an item is, the more XP you get.
Okay.
And then the more XP you get, the more you level up. And you have, I think there's 20 levels to get to the final metropolis.
Right.
Ranking. I think I'm like 4 or 5 away at this point, but yeah, you leave it on and you just accumulate XP over time, and you just cross your fingers that like a meteor doesn't hit your city.
That's what I was wondering. Is like, it's a city management system. Leaving it to run by itself, wouldn't you need to like make sure? We got traffic problems over here that need to be done, or pollution has gotten into. I mean, do you have to come in and check on it periodically, or what's the deal?
Yeah, pretty much. I left it on the other night. Oh, the other thing too is money. So like you get into a positive cash flow, and then over time, and it just accumulates. Like I think I have banked. I think I'm at $500 million right now, and that's from leaving it on 2 nights in a row.
Wow.
And I don't have a big city at all. I think I just crossed 75K. So
I was wondering.
Like near 80K.
Yeah, I was wondering because I know as population increases, that's when people seem to run into, problems. Not talking about game mechanic problems, talking about performance problems.
So performance,
that's something I wanted to talk to you about, and yeah.
Yeah, it's there. It's very apparent as soon as you launch the game.
What are your specs again?
I have a 3090, and I cannot remember what my CPU is. 32 gigs of RAM.
But I've read that the bottleneck is the GPU on any of this. Whereas I want to say the last game, City Skylines 1, I think was very CPU intensive as far as your population was concerned. But I can't remember.
They both appear to be super CPU intensive. I mean, my fans are blasting like constantly through the entire while it's up, and no game really does that for me except for Skylines.
Yeah.
So I think I got a Ryzen 5800X. That's what I'm running.
Okay. Well, I've got a Ryzen 3700X, I think. And I think that's what I've got. And then, of course, I got a 3080, and I got 64 gigs of RAM.
There's 2 settings you can adjust immediately that will bump you up into like the 30 because that's the thing. Like you turn it on, and you're getting like 12, 15 FPS, and you're like, "What is this?"
Bad,
what, it's really bad. And then you turn off 2 settings, and it gets you to 30, and that makes it manageable. But if it starts to rain or something, then you're going to start to feel it a little bit more.
I know. Even people with like just top of the line cards, or the more expensive, like the 40 series, are running into the issues, especially as your population gets bigger, or it snows, or it rains, or anything like that starts to eat into it. So I know they put a patch out recently that actually did some good on the performance end of things. I don't know if you saw anything with that patch.
I don't know. I already turned off the 2 settings that I think was doing most of it. Now I'm trying to remember what the 2 settings were.
Are you running? What are you running?
Field of vision.
Yeah, depth of field.
Depth of field.
Yeah, and
something else.
What are you? Are you running it at 4K, 1080? What are you running it at?
Ultra wide. So it's.
Ooh.
That's the other thing too. Yeah.
Which I'm not my reaction is not like ooh ow that's cutting in. My reaction is ooh that must look really good.
It still looks great. I mean, again, when I first booted it, there was like jagged edges on stuff.
Yeah.
It did not look like an upgrade from the first game, which I had just kind of been done playing with because they kept releasing DLC for it.
Yeah.
So I had a fresh view of that in my mind, and when I got this I was like, oh, bummer. And there's a bunch of other bummer stuff too, like quality of life stuff that is really apparent coming from the first game. The first one that comes to mind is pedestrian bridges. So the first one was such a traffic simulator game that you had to make sure that pedestrians weren't stopping, walking across crosswalks and causing traffic jams. So you always have to build pedestrian bridges over your roads. And so I was preemptively doing that. But for whatever reason, the scale in which they allow you to rise off the ground, it takes up like 9 cells to get like a ramp to go over like a normal street. And when you think about like 9 cells, when you think about like a block, that's almost a full block, like a grid that some people base their cities on. So it doesn't really do you much good
if you do a 3x3 type. Yeah,
it's difficult to do that in tight spaces. You need to have the room to do that. And then of course you have these super long bridges now that don't look aesthetically appealing, from when you're trying to make things like look good. So that's my first complaint out of the gate.
But this is your first city that you started working on, I would imagine, right?
It is.
Dukeville, I believe, is what it is.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly what it's called.
It tells me that on either Steam. I think it's on the Steam chat on the app, because I had sent you some message there. It says it still shows you as being asleep. Oh no, now it says online. Never mind. But yeah, it gave me all this information about what you were doing. It told me what your population was. It told me the city you were building, which I think was Dukeville. And yeah, it gave me all of that information in the Steam chat app. Yep.
Yeah, it looks. I see a couple of my friends playing right now, and I can see that they're building or bulldozing, whatever it is that they're doing. Kind of nice. There's a couple of games that kind of share that information. It shows like happiness of your people too, I think.
Neat. Okay.
But yeah, I think Counter-Strike is another game that kind of shows you,
gives you a lot of detail about what they're actually doing. Yeah,
it's a nice little nugget thing built into Steam.
It is, and I'm glad I'm glad you got it. Did you get the big collector's edition thing, or what'd you do?
I did coming from the first game, I bought all the DLC that followed it up.
You knew it was going to happen. Yeah, exactly. And did you see the stuff they're going to, I saw this last night. Oh God, what is that? It's the like 2,500 assets that they're going to be given that you're just going to get for free.
I didn't hear that at all. I've been heads down on my city trying to get to 100,000 people, and I haven't really been paying attention to what's coming.
They've got some creators who are working on buildings and assets for 8 different regions. Or is it 6 different regions? I can't remember, but it's a lot of stuff you're going to be getting, and it's all going to be free. It'll be Japan, Germany, East Coast USA, West Coast USA. There was a couple of other like regional things, so you're going to get buildings from those areas. But 2,500 plus different assets and creation tools and all this other stuff. So it's
that's cool.
All free. So I mean, they're going to be good, and obviously it's going through the Paradox mod system thing or whatever they're doing since they dropped Steam. The Steam Workshop stuff.
That's coming too, whatever their workshop is. So we'll be closely monitoring what mods. I did heavily mod City Skyline 1. I mean, you had to. There was so many things. The traffic. I mean, it became. I think that's what they were trying to do with the second game, is not make it just Traffic Simulator 2.0, because that's what the first game ended up being. It just, you spent 90% of your time managing traffic. You could. I mean, the mods that were available, you could control, left hand, right hand turn, whatever lane you're in, banning, crossing over certain line. Like it was the detail to make sure that if you were in a lane, that lane has you going a certain way, rather than having the AI try to figure out, where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And to their credit, there's a lot of those tools built into the core game of City Skylines too. Like there's no left-hand turn or no right-hand turn stuff. But the cars aren't following it. So it's kind of broken right now. Because I use left-hand band signs all the time, and cars just blow through it. Like they go right through it. They don't pay attention
to that stuff.
No, they don't pay attention to that. That's broken. What else is broken? Oh, the seaports are broken.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that it took a while for me to figure that out, until I went to Reddit and found out that you just have to delete. Or no, you don't have to delete it. You just have to move it and then move it back, and that fixes it.
And that fixes it? Oh, great. What has been in your? I'm not going to look at the Steam reviews or anything, but as far as you looking up situations on forums or Reddit or something like that, what is the consensus among people who are playing it? Are they generally satisfied, or I mean, are they hopeful about it, or are they disappointed in it?
It's one of those things. Like, I got a friend I'm playing with right now, and he wrote a negative review the first 2 hours he had the game, and he's like, performance. I have a 4090, I'm getting 11 frames, with just a blank map. And he's got like 50 hours logged already. Right. So he's still playing through it, chugging them. I'm talking to him about it.
Right.
Like, we're enjoying it.
You just wrote a negative review, but you're still playing the thing.
Right. The point of the negative review is to recommend it to other people. And I think the fans of the first game, they're going to have no problem kind of blasting through this rocky start. And they have confidence in the team to fix and listen to the group. So I don't think I think that's the other thing too. It's like a group of 30 developers, right? Like, this is what we're talking about.
It ain't a big team. Yeah, it ain't a big team.
We're not talking about EA. We're not talking about, another studio that just has time and money on their hands.
I think this is out of Sweden,
30 people.
Colossal Order, I believe.
Yeah, they'll listen and fix what's broken. There's a lot of things that are broken. And again, coming from a polished game, like, when did the first game release at this point? It was shortly after the 2013 disaster of SimCity, right?
It was, yeah. So if 2013 was the SimCity disaster, I would say 14 or 15, probably 15 when that one hit. I can tell you real quick.
I was looking it up too. 2015, March 10th.
Yeah.
So it was 2 years after
2015.
The EA version, and they basically took over the city builder. Like,
they completely they single-handedly saved city builders after what SimCity had done to city builders. Which is ironic a little bit too, because a lot of the complaints with the SimCity game was not only that it was always on, which Steam is always on. Like, we've come, I think people are pretty much accepting, digital distribution at this point, that you're always connected. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing is they were selling DLC, like, and I don't think City Skylines ever did this, egregiously, but they were selling, like, and this is a total example, but they were like, EA would put up, like, you can buy the Statue of Liberty for $2, and that can be like a thing you can have in your city. And people, like, hated that. But City Skylines devs released huge packs after the fact that people ate up, and those were $5.99. I think some of them were $9.99. But it was more than just one item.
That's true. That's true. Yep, it was a whole experience. And it changed the dynamics of the map too. Like, they added industries and they added economy. They banking. Yeah, and that kind of thing.
I remember I picked up. I went to the Humble Bundle and grabbed a bunch of stuff. I don't know how long ago. I think it was over the summer or something. I grabbed a ton of stuff that they had. In fact, what am I missing? I'm looking here to see what I'm missing. I'm missing the plazas and promenades.
That's a nice aesthetic one.
Yeah. And it currently would only cost me $12 to add that to my the first game. So, well, let me ask you this. I don't know if you got to get back, but let me ask you on City Skylines, just to kind of wrap that up. For me, I don't own it yet. I don't know when I'll pick it up. I'm kind of waiting for some of the bugs, I guess, to get worked out. But I know this is a process, and I'll probably be waiting a while. But is this something I should hold off on, or should I go ahead and get it now? Your recommendation.
I think waiting let them. I mean, if you're an absolute diehard, I think most of those people already purchased it. But if you're on the fence, there's no point in picking it up right now. You wait a couple of weeks, let them release the patches. Especially, we got the Thanksgiving Steam sale coming up. I'm not expecting a huge discount for this game, but you might see like 5 or 10%. That might be like a really good time to pick it up. Yeah. And then, of course, if you don't pick it up then you get the
holiday
Christmas
sale.
Yeah, that's coming up. So you got 2 or more opportunities to kind of gauge, but I'm having a blast with it, even through some of the headaches of just placing stuff and the performance stuff. You take off the field of view and or the depth of field, whatever that is, and it makes it playable and makes it as smooth as you'd expect it to be.
Let me ask you another question before we let you go. As far as the do you have a PS5?
I don't yet.
Okay, because I was going to ask if you were playing Spider-Man 2, and then my next question is, where are you with Alan Wake 2?
So Alan Wake 2 will be my Christmas game purchase.
Okay. PC, I guess?
That'll be on PC. I'll hopefully be able to kind of snag that and go through that during the Christmas break. And
that is a looker, man. Have you seen? That thing looks...
It does look great. I expect it to look as great as Callisto Protocol, because Callisto Protocol was the definitive next-gen game that I still think that, in my eyes, it's the best-looking game
I was watching Digital Foundry. I bookmarked the video for it, but it's Digital Foundry was doing that and saying that this is one of the most technically demanding or technically advanced. I don't know. Like this is a really good-looking game if you've got the gear to run it at its best, being 4K and everything else. So I mean, and what they were showing off was just looked really good. As far as the looks on it, I don't know about how it. I loved Alan Wake. I loved the first one. I didn't play Control. I recently went back to Alan Wake to play it, and I did not like it at all.
Oh my God, that was my experience as well. That was 100% my experience. I played it on Xbox when it first came out. It was an exclusive to Xbox.
It was. I played it on PC. I have it on Xbox, but I went back and played it on PC because I got it in a Steam sale or something, and I enjoyed it on that. But then I picked up the remastered, and I hated it.
Yeah, I recently went through. Let's see, I'm looking at my Steam. I last played 2020. So that's when I went through it again, and I hated. I had a very frustrating experience with it. However, the DLC American Nightmare felt like an entirely new game.
That's what I had heard. I didn't play it. I own it, but I didn't play the DLC just because a lot of people said like, "Oh, it's completely. It's not. It's not what." It is not what the first game is. You need to kind of look at it as a separate entity type thing.
Yeah, it's a little bit. There's no
more action oriented, I think.
Yeah, and there's a lot of repetitiveness in the DLC, but it's native to the PC, so you can clearly tell that the Alan Wake game was a port. I didn't play the remastered, obviously, because that's probably a different feel. But it doesn't play. It's very. You can tell it's a port when you're playing a PC game and the cutscenes don't look like the in-game that you just experienced.
It just dropped. The quality just dropped.
Yeah, like they imported just the video.
They didn't remaster the video on it. They only remastered the part you play. Everything else, it's like, why do we need to remaster this? It's just the video. Put the video in.
Yeah, so that and the controls I didn't feel played very well, but the American Nightmare one played very well. And then I like the Stephen King story of Alan Wake, and I'm a horror guy as it is, so I will be playing that. As for Spider-Man, I don't have a PS5. I need one because I'm building a theater in my basement, and I need a 4K Blu-ray player at some point, and it only makes sense to get the PS5 when that is finished up. But Spider-Man is on Steam. The first game,
yes. Which means since Spider-Man 2 is released on PS5, the countdown is on for the PC release.
Exactly.
Probably next year.
The first game yet, and I haven't finished Miles yet, so I'm going to be doing both on my Steam Deck at some point during the holiday as well.
Okay.
So that'll be more of a catch-up thing. But those are must-play games, and those are at the top of my backlog to play that I just haven't gotten around to.
Do you have a Switch?
I don't.
Okay.
Nope.
Wasn't sure.
Deck.
PC
right now.
I hadn't jumped into it yet, and I'm about to take a break and let you go as well. But the amount of really great games that just got released: Spider-Man 2 on the PS5, Super Mario Wonder on the Nintendo Switch, and Alan Wake 2 likely to be up there as well on PC. This is just we've talked about this before. It has been a very good year for gaming.
I said it a couple of weeks ago on your show. I said it's the best release game year since 2007 was the year that I pulled out. Yep. A lot of benchmark titles released that year as well.
It really, really is. Well, Steve, thanks so much for running in to help out here during your Halloween stuff that you got going on at home. So
no problem at all. Yeah, it's good to have time and talk and catch up. And I wish I saw it a little earlier. That's all.
That's no problem. No problem. My fault for not getting in touch with you sooner. Well, you take care and enjoy City Skylines, and we'll talk to you again some other time, man. Have a good one, okay?
All right, you too, Scott. Take
See
care.
Ya. Bye-bye. We're going to be right back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. Got music here from Dead by Daylight. It is chase music. However, this is the Dead by Daylight when they added Michael Myers of the Halloween franchise into the game. So the chase music is the Halloween chase music. Very repetitive, but also really, really good. We'll be right back with more of In-Game Chat after this. Welcome back into the show. This is music from the NES Friday the 13th. It's just the map for Crystal Lake. That's all it is. Where Jason wore purple jumpsuits. Anyway, welcome back to the show. So, I don't know kind of how we want to wrap things up. I'll hit some news here and there that we've got, or that I've got lined up here. I talked about City Skylines to death, so let's go over some other stuff here. Steam sale, we talked about that. Skull and Bones from Ubisoft is delayed again. That shouldn't even be news. The news should be Skull and Bones has released. That's it. We shouldn't hear about Skull and Bones ever again until it actually releases. If they give it a release date, that should not be news, because they've done that like 7 times now. Just, if it releases, that's when the news comes out. Hey, Skull and Bones, available now. That's it. I don't care about reviews. You can do those reviews after it releases, whatever. it's not coming out. They moved it to early 2024. If you want to mark this, that I'm saying it right now, it'll get delayed again. It won't make early 2024. I'm probably wrong. I don't know. Super Mario Brothers Wonder became the fastest selling Mario game ever in Europe. That game has gotten a lot of great reviews. Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Not only just a lot of great reviews, but just praise all over. A contender for Game of the Year. With a lot of others that have been on that list as well. Because, what did we find out? I believe Spider-Man 2 was the fastest selling PlayStation Studios game ever. So, yeah, that's up there for Game of the Year. And apparently it is now the PlayStation 5's definitive technical showcase, is Spider-Man 2. It assumes the throne as the console's most technically impressive game to date. Said the same thing about God of War Ragnarok last fall. But there's always something, of course, coming out later on that can, take that throne again. Insomniac Games has brought to bear all of its experience developing for the PS5. This is the studio's fourth project for the platform, following Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. The two previous after that was Marvel's Spider-Man, or at least the remaster, and then the Miles Morales, which was a cross-generational game. This is the first one that is, I say the first one, because I think Rift Apart may have only been PlayStation 5 as well, but I don't know. In Rift Apart, which debuted exclusively on PS5, Insomniac showed what it could do when it didn't have to worry about supporting older hardware. So, yeah. And the Spider-Man, let's see, the studio has built upon that work with Spider-Man 2, making even better use of the SSD to allow for instantaneous fast travel and other remarkable transitions. It looks amazing, or at least the rendering of New York City looks amazing. The ray tracing and all that stuff. They got two different graphic modes in the game, the performance mode and the fidelity mode. So I'm looking to, I don't know, I'll switch between the two, but normally I stick to the, oh God, that game looks good. Normally I would stick to performance, although I have a slider I'm looking at here and I'm like, man, really the only difference I'm seeing in the slider is how much traffic is in the streets. So, yeah. And there's a lot to look at here. I haven't really tried to go through this article that I'm reading about, but really good technical showcase for the PlayStation 5, Spider-Man 2 is. What else do we have? See Skylines again. Oh yeah, there was a optical disc drive announced for the PlayStation 5 Slim. But they found out that you have to connect to the internet to use it. The upcoming PlayStation 5 Slim has popped up online, and with that comes fresh information about how the optical disc drive will work with the digital edition of the console. But if you've got a digital edition of the console, why would you offer an optical disc drive if it's not? Huh. So yeah, apparently the smaller PS5 design comes with 1 terabyte of storage for the PS5 and PS5 Digital Edition. The new model provides the option to add an Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive to the PS5 Digital Edition. If you buy the Digital Edition, you can add the Blu-ray disc drive later on, as it's going to also be sold separately for $80. Once inventory of the current PS5 model is sold out, the new PS5 will become the only model available. So the Digital Edition will be $450. The edition with the disc drive will be $500. Does it? So wait a second. Maybe I'm confused. The console is only going to be available even if you buy it with the disc drive. It's not built in. You're just getting that disc drive extra that you can then plug into it. Is that what I'm reading? Is that the gist that I'm getting here? Is that the two options are the digital version or the digital version with a disk drive attachment? Is that what I'm seeing? Huh. Really weird that you got to have an internet connection to run an optical disk drive. But such is the times that we live, I suppose. Let's see more. Oh, man. Okay. The Xbox Partner Preview Showcase that took place earlier this week is like a 30-minute... First off, I'm fine with this. It was a 30-minute video showing trailer after trailer. There was no talkie. It was all showy. And that's always good when it comes to video game stuff. Stop talking, show me. And if you have to talk, show me while you talk. But don't put a person up there who's just going to talk for a while and not show any gameplay or anything. So we got the Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which looks like it's like you run a tropical resort. It's Animal Crossing, and you run the place. It looked a lot like that, but it looked like, it was really upscale Animal Crossing, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there was some kiddie-type stuff in there, but, I mean, the look of it is nice. But I don't necessarily know that I would do that. Let's see, what else do we have? Power Wash Simulator developer Future Lab unveiled a new game called Ikaro Will Not Die. It's a spiritual successor to their Velocity series. That promises satisfying flow state roguelike action. But we really didn't see a lot of gameplay with it that I know of. Still Wakes the Deep. This was from the Amnesia developers, the Chinese room. It is a narrative-driven first-person horror that seems to take place on a 1970s set North Sea oil rig that seems abandoned, but maybe not. Got to look at RoboCop Rogue City. Yeah. Dungeons of Hinterberg. Players socialize and dungeon dive across the once sleepy Austrian mountain resort that gives the game its name. It's due out next year. It's got a Game Pass launch, so that'll be available. Spirit of the North 2. I remember seeing Spirit of the North 1, but I was surprised that we had already gotten a sequel for it, or that it did well enough that we were getting a sequel. Showed off Metal Gear Solid Green Triangle Snake Eater, and it's such a long title, and it's so weird to say. But it's basically a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. So yeah, we did get some first in-game footage, including a little bit of gameplay. Doesn't look half bad, but yeah. Manor Lords, a strategy game that sees players attempting to rustle up a thriving medieval town. In-depth city building, large-scale tactical battles, plus complex economic and social simulations. If you like that sort of thing, it's launching on PC for the 25th of April next year, and it's also a Day 1 Game Pass release. I might take a look at it on Game Pass. It was kind of interesting. That's where I also saw the finals, or at least a trailer for the finals, that is now in a beta until November 5th. We got Ark Survival Ascended. They said it's a controversial remake of Ark Survival Evolved. I don't know why it's controversial. I can't remember what the deal was on that as to why it is. It's certainly a late reveal considering the game enters Steam Early Access that same day, or at least should have. It's still nowhere to be seen hours after the announcement. Then we got Alan Wake 2. A launch trailer for Alan Wake 2, and that game is currently out now. So that's what we got from the Xbox preview partner showcase thing. We also got news that Amazon's Fallout series will be released next April. They did a little trailer for that as well. American McGee says that the Alice franchise is dead. He is really trying to make sure that everybody knows that it is done. People keep asking me, It's done. It's one of those things where that's what he became known for, and that's fine that he did, but now everybody's asking, when are you going to do another one? When are you going to do another one? It is basically a card that he could hand to any group of people that just says, it's dead, Stop asking me the question. Just know that it's dead. It's not coming back. So, and that's fine. I don't mind that, but come on, man. You can work on some other games, right? You got more than just Alice in there. You can do some more stuff. Squadron 42, we got to look at that, which is from Star Citizen. It looked rough to me. I should go back and watch it, but some of the, I guess that Uncanny Valley thing or something about some of the characters that were in it looked a little rough. Over a decade after announcing Star Citizen, Chris Roberts finally declared that its Squadron 42 single-player campaign, which is just a piece of the bigger persistent universe of Star Citizen, which, by the way, has raised over $600 million in crowdfunding, is feature complete and entering the polish phase. No release date has been announced, and polishing may take some time, but Chris Roberts warns in a nearly 30-minute trailer celebrating the milestone that's just going to be the case. He'll refrain from trying to guess a release date, who knows, with Star Citizen, but the video does give a wide-ranging tour of a big and complete-looking single-player campaign with space combat, first-person shooting, and performance-captured war speeches. Here's the biggest takeaways from the Squadron 42 thing that we've seen so far. They really went wild with celebrity actors. Yes, they did. The puzzles look straight out of Half-Life 2. We're not blown away by the space combat. This comes from PCGamer.com, by the way. No surprises in the first-person shooting, but maybe stunning planetary approaches can carry it. Yeah. So, I don't know. Looked interesting, but I know it was a long trailer. I just haven't looked at it though. That's the one. Yeah, 26 minutes. Just Google Squadron 42 and you can find the trailer for, ooh, that looks really good if that's gameplay, but I don't know if that's gameplay. That's really good. Yeah. But again, I'm a little bit Starfield shy, I should say, at the moment. So, what else we got? Media Molecule is the latest PlayStation studio to be hit with layoffs. And this is after they decided that they would not be doing any more with the Dreams game. They were going to do some more support for it and stuff like that, but that is now off the table. They are done with that. So, let's see. Starfield helped Xbox achieve record-breaking game revenue for quarter one. And it says, but it's not all good news. Well, then what's the bad news? According to the data published by the company behind Xbox, its gaming arm generated just over $3.9 billion during the period running from July 1st to September 30th. That increased 9% year-on-year for them in terms of overall gaming revenue. That makes it Xbox's highest-earning quarter one ever, with the numbers being acknowledged as record-breaking. Yeah, and you're going to have Starfield to thank for that in some way. But I don't know that it's that great because the Steam reviews for Starfield have just kind of ticked down further. The most noteworthy was Starfield to arrive during that period. Last month, Bethesda stated that the game was the biggest launch in its history. With Xbox's quarter one content and services revenue, a number which is influenced by the performance of Game Pass, it went up by 13%. But things weren't all rosy. The hardware revenue, so in other words, people aren't buying the console, that dipped by 7% compared to last year. However, Microsoft does not provide concrete figures for console sales in the quarterly results, though it did cite the number of Xbox consoles sold this quarter as being lower than previous marks. So that's where the bad news was, is that nobody's buying the hardware, but people are buying the software. So, yeah. You'll figure out a way to work on that, because I believe in those leaks that we got way back when, there are plans for a what's it called? when you do something like midway through not the development, but midway through the life cycle, like a revamp or something like that. I don't want to call it a 2.0 type thing, but Xbox Series X revised. What are they going to make next? At least with Sony, it's like it's the fourth one, here's the fifth one, it's the sixth one, it's the sixth one Pro. Okay, where do you go with Series X? Series X Part 2? I don't know. Series X, Series 2. How about that? I don't know where they're going to go with that or how they're going to do that. But there is some sort of like a mid-life refreshing of the system where, you'll get some upticks in performance or output or whatever the case may be. And then, of course, they'll release the next version of the console way down the line there. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work or if that is all going to work. So this article comes from PC Gamer again. It says, Alan Wake 2 is a stunning example of what the future of PC gaming looks like, but they say that only is on NVIDIA. The RTX 40 series features come together to make something beautiful in Alan Wake 2. However, that is only if you have an NVIDIA card. Reminds me of Starfield, where they did AMD deal, and here's what you get. But they're working on making it take advantage of what NVIDIA has to offer on their graphics cards. So, wow, man, that is a really demanding game. Alan Wake 2. Turn off DLSS and FrameGen, and even on RTX 4080, you can't really stomach the game at full bore. 4080, man, is up there as far as your graphics card stuff. And yeah, I'm amazed that it's a card that hasn't been out too long, but that we already have games that are like, pushing it to the limit. Best wait for the next revision of cards before you can run some of these games that are out now or that are just now coming out. I love PC gaming. I hate the advancement of technology, or at least the speed at which it advances, because it is essentially buying a car. The minute you buy your graphics card, it is already depreciated. It's already not obsolete. I won't say that, but you know what I'm saying? It's already sort of like, it's last year, because something is always going to be on the horizon better as far as your graphics card stuff. And that's something else to say. If you're in the market for, by the way, speaking of being in the market for stuff, 23rd, I think, 24th is Black Friday. So we are now less than a month away from Black Friday. Some people have already started on some of their sales. I know Best Buy did some stuff, but it's going to get, more stuff is going to get added to it. More stores are going to participate. We'll get the spreadsheet back. We'll start getting all that stuff done, and start tracking what we're going to see. Mostly it's going to be in the games, but I'm going to have my eye on other things like your monitors, like your PC components, like your accessory stuff for your consoles, or even just your other stuff for your consoles, like PlayStation VR 2, or what else? The Quest 2 and Quest 3, stuff like that. That you're going to see start dropping down in price for Black Friday. So that is upcoming. That is something we are going to do, as we've always done, is to kind of keep you ahead of what stores are selling what for what price, and if you kind of want to go after them, that sort of thing. But yeah, coming up on the end of the episode here. And I just realized the music that we're going to go out to happens to be from Alice Madness Returns. So anyway, that is going to wrap it up for me. I hope you have a fantastic Halloween. It is the Halloween weekend, Halloween on Tuesday. I hope everything is great for you for Halloween. Have a great one. Have a safe one as well. And thank you, everybody, for joining us in the chat room. Thank you for Chris for calling in on Discord. Thanks, Steve, for taking a break from your Halloween festivities and joining us as well. And thank all of you. I don't know what you guys were doing this afternoon, but thank you guys for joining in on the show. Don't forget to grab us each week off of iTunes. We put the video up on YouTube. All of this stuff's going up tomorrow. So enjoy that. Join us on Steam. Join us on YouTube. We're all over the place. Have a great one. We'll see you next Saturday. Back with RJ, by the way. Music from Alice. Madness Returns, the main theme. Have a great one. Happy Halloween.